All right, back again, back again. So I wanted to touch base on this interview from the front office of the Boston Celtics. Brad Stevens and Bill did address the public and the media as of yesterday, referring to the Jaylen Brown trade. Now, I do appreciate Brad Stevens coming out and just admitting that, he's willing to have a conversation with Jaylen Brown when the time is right about feeling disrespected from the organization. And it takes a real man and someone who's mature and just real, just all in general, to admit and say that. Because Jaylen Brown did do a Twitch stream last week and he definitely opened up a bit. And he did mention that he felt disrespected and that he should say that. And, I appreciate Brad Stevens saying that he's willing to have that conversation one day when the time is right. Now, I can understand where he's coming from, as an individual who give your all to something, somebody, place, workplace, because this is people they work for. Yeah, they play sports. Yes, they make millions of dollars, but this is their job, playing basketball. We've all been disrespected, many different ways in life, especially on a job and especially as an individual, as Black, African American. Now, Brad Stevens, overall, to me, in this interview, he seems down. His energy, his mood, everything is just low. He seems like he didn't want to trade Jaylen Brown. And let's be honest, there's a strong chance that he did not want to trade Jaylen. Jaylen did mention on his live stream last week that Brad was getting way too much criticism. Now, after seeing this interview and seeing how Brad is reacting to just the whole situation in general, he seems as upset at the fact that Jaylen is not here. I believe this was strictly ownership. Maybe someone else in the front office, far as general managers, had to say as well. Because when I watched Bill, this guy Bill, I don't even know him, but it seems like he just don't care, in my opinion. Like he just like, oh, this is just strictly business. Yeah, it's business, but it's business where you interfere with something that a player gave their all to and gave their heart to. And that's what people like Bill don't understand. They don't understand the relationships, the love for this. These guys don't go out there and play basketball because they just talented at it. They go out there and play because this is something they actually love. Basketball, sports, 9 times out of 10 was their first love. Most of these guys picked up balls when they were kids. And now they're doing it as a profession as an adult. So you would tell a guy like Brad put his heart and soul into it. This guy been here for years with these guys, Tatum and Brown. And it's the same thing like many other organizations. But people like Bill and some people in front offices and ownership, especially when you have these investment groups and private equity groups that buy these organizations, sometimes they just looking to save money and then find a way to win a championship if they care about it. Because some of them come in and buy businesses literally just to make money. Some of them do not care about the real end goal, the real reason behind it. I feel like a private equity group like this, if they're just coming in to make money, they honestly just go buy casinos. Don't even come into this space buying these type of teams when your real focus is not on winning. Because right now, the direction Boston's going in, I don't think they're really focused on winning at all. I believe that they're going to eventually trade Jason Tatum, and they're just going to blow this whole team up and then start from scratch. Because Tatum and Brown was too young to trade right now. You could have held on a few more years. But again, when you bring a new ownership, especially ownership like a private equity group, investment group, all they care about is money. But Brad seems to be very upset about this. He seems down. He seems sad. It seems like he's lost. Like, I was here all these years, helped build this team. We won a championship together literally 2 years ago. Remind you, the championship they just won was 2 years ago. He just seem puzzled to me based off what I've seen in this interview.
The emotions of to defend ourselves in this decision that is going to certainly be scrutinized. We're okay with that. But we're more so dealing with the emotions of, Jaylen not being here, just like you are.
He seemed like he just lost. I feel like owners that hide behind front offices are cowards. If they were the ones pushing for this trade after Brad spent all these years and time and development with these guys, because he once coached them, it should be ownership out there having these conversations. It should not be Brad Stevens, the guy that, gave his all to this team, this organization, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. It should not be him the one addressing this. If you wanted to trade him, I feel like ownership need to stop hiding behind guys like this and come out and address the public and the media, because they can, and they've done it before. We've seen ownership come out and address certain situations like this when we had to trade top players or superstar players.
And this was, and Brad and his team came.
Is there any mandate or directive coming down from the ownership group that you guys needed to alleviate some pressure with the cap?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this was all about basically trying to win, and I mean, I think really trusting in our process. I think we have the best front office in the NBA, and they put in their work and they came to the conclusion this was the best way for us to win, and that's the mandate, is to win. And I just have to keep saying that. There's no, we'll spend whatever it takes to do that. The mandate is to win, and Brad and his team came with a recommendation. This is the way we're gonna.
Bill clearly is not being honest. Clearly, he's not being honest, because if the old ownership had this team, Brown would still be there at least another few years. Tatum would be there together at least a few years, and you could tell that the ownership made this hectic decision within the last, year or so, because Tatum just got back, I think, from Achilles tear. He tore his Achilles. And he rushed back last season for no reason. Brown carried the team last season to get them to the playoffs, and he did a great job last season. Boston still played very good last season. And you decide to trade that player that carried the team, and then Tatum still, just now really fully coming back to his true form after tearing Achilles, and you give him a 36-year-old, about to be 37-year-old Paul George. This has nothing to do with front office. I believe this is all ownership, and Bill is just being that guy covering up, trying to pretend like, oh no, this is all front office. This is not front office. We know this is not the front office making the decision. We know this the ownership. For whatever reason they really did it, who knows? But once again, they're showing that all they care about right now is the dollar signs instead of the actual love for the game.
If I was being honest, if that exact deal came from a team out west and you were comparing the two, then you'd probably take the team out west, but that's not the way it would work. These are not decisions you make in haste or in rush. You've thought about it, and hopefully there's a bunch of 7 jerseys around. I'm pretty sure I bought a couple. So I get it. And I lost sleep over the fan part of this. Yeah. I get it. Like, there's a bunch of 7 jerseys around. I'm pretty sure
I believe he lost sleep because he traded Jaylen Brown, not because of the fan part of it. I believe he truly lost sleep over this one. He's admitting he bought 7 jerseys. He bought number 7 jerseys. It's unfortunate that it had to go this route for Jaylen Brown and the Celtics, but maybe it's for the better. Again, I believe they're going to blow up this team. I believe this team is I believe Tatum's going to eventually be off this team. I don't believe that he's going to be able to lead this team to where they believe Tatum can lead it. I just think it's an awkward time. And why you choose after this guy tore his Achilles to try to lead this team into winning makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. I'm just not buying it. I'm not getting it. But, far as Jaylen feeling, disrespected, I I understand where he's coming from, because when you work for somebody, there's plenty of times they disrespect you, and they look down at you like you're nobody. You're just somebody that's coming in helping us make money, doing whatever it is that you do. In his case, it's playing basketball, and he's very, very good at it. And I feel like these organizations should at least sit there, take the time, have a conversation with agent and players, especially superstar players like Brown, and tell them, like, look, we're looking to go in a different direction. So you might get traded. It's that simple. We've had organizations work with superstar players in the past to send them to teams they would rather go to, put them in a pretty good situation or somewhere that they'll feel comfortable, because they did, the city and the organization is solid. They won them a championship 2 years ago. This was not 5-10 years ago. This was 2 years ago. And put so much into the community in Boston. Shown nothing but undevoted love. So this is the reason why you have basketball players at time, they say forget it. They're going to make decisions that they feel that fit them perfectly. They don't care about separating from organizations at time, because the organization is willing to separate from them without real communication, a lack of communication, a lack of being real. And that is a problem. So hopefully these organizations will understand this and find ways to adjust and do better in the future. But I wish Jaylen Brown nothing but the best. I like the fact that Brad Stevens did trade him to Philly. I feel like he did him a super solid on that one, because they're also their rival as well. They was always saying, forget the process. Now he said he's part of the process. So, it's definitely exciting to see him out there. Boston just need to do better.